Out into the wild, indigenous child, survive the formidable trials. I stand in the rain, scanning the plains in pursuit of the villainous vile. Who said everything that I love and complain, descent is my name.
Hi, I'm Ducky.
And I'm Big Red. And we're Red Duck Reviews.
And today we are pointing to you live in front of the Wall of Thorns.
Today we're going to review the Disney movie Maleficent. The movie follows Maleficent from childhood to adulthood as she experiences friendship, betrayal, and true love.
And the first thing you'll notice, the scenery in this movie is beautiful because everything was filmed inside the United Kingdom. And they have some terrific landscape inside here.
One of the other big things with this movie is a lot of people have wondered, since it was based off the animated classic, if it is child-friendly. And we pretty much agreed that it was child-friendly. There are a few things in it that seem a little bit dark, but there's nothing that's graphic in the movie.
And speaking of kids, Angelina's daughter, Vivian Jolie Pitts, plays Aurora when she's 5 years old because apparently all the other kids were too afraid of Angelina when she was in her Maleficent makeup. I find that kind of funny right there.
Speaking of Angelina Jolie, of course, she plays the main character, Maleficent.
Charlito Copley plays as King Stefan, who you might remember as Howling Mad Murdoch from the A-Team movie.
Imelda Staunton plays Knotgrass, one of the three fairies, and of course you may remember her from the Harry Potter series as Dolores Umbridge.
Then there's Sam Riley, who you might remember from the movie 13, who plays as Maleficent's companion, Divel the Crow.
And of course there's Ellie Fanning that plays Aurora.
So anyway, I really enjoyed this movie, but I have some conflicting thoughts about it, because on one hand, I think they did a really good job making Maleficent the hero / anti-villain or whatever label you want to give her, but at the same time, I really enjoyed her as the straight-up villain from the original animated Sleeping Beauty movie. Because Maleficent is one of my all-time favorite Disney villains, and I just have conflicting thoughts about that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I thought at the beginning when they said that they were going to tell you the story in case you didn't know it, I thought that was kind of a weak turn-off to separate the animated movie from the realistic movie. I mean, yeah, you know, they may have some of the same ideas going through them, of course, because it's the same story, but this one goes through and it explains Maleficent, you know, and gives her a little bit more of a backstory, you know, than the animated movie did, because, you know, it was you know, tailored towards a younger audience.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed Charlito Copley as King Stefan. I mean, he was basically the villain of the movie, and I thought he did a really good job. And two of my favorite scenes from the movie are both centered around him and Maleficent. The first one being he is deciding whether or not to kill Maleficent because he wants the throne. And he drugged Maleficent, and he has the knife at her, and he couldn't bring himself to do it because apparently he did have strong feelings for me. That part was not a lie. So he decided to spare her, and he, you know, took her wings instead, which was equally horrible, but I guess he figured that she would be harmless after that, but she wasn't. And my other favorite scene was when Maleficent made her grand entrance at Aurora's christening. Oh, that brings back memories from the old animated movie, because that opening scene was just fantastic.
Yeah, another thing that I really liked was they did a really good job of not muddying anything up with extra characters. Everybody seemed to have their place. I mean, when they talked about the greed of man compared to the fairy tale creatures that lived
in the moors.
Yeah, in the moors. You know, there wasn't another man or woman that was there that seemed to side with them. It was more, there was them in the moors, and then there was the kingdom of the men, and they were concentrated on greed, and the people and the creatures in the moor they had their own way of life. There was nobody that kind of commingled together. It was one side or another, and I think they did a really good job of keeping them separate. And that, for me anyway, made the battle seem to be a lot more meaningful in the movie.
Yeah, and another thing I'm a little unsure of, the three fairies, their designs, on one hand, they look cute. Like, it's like, oh man, that's just adorable. But on the other hand, they kind of creeps me out a bit.
Yeah, there's the two older ones and then the one younger ones. And like I said, I mean, if they just turned them from fairies into witches, you could have rewrote Hocus Pocus. I thought it was pretty funny.
The Prince Philip character, he was really not needed in this movie.
Yep.
They just put him in there because he was part of the original story. But it's like, he really didn't serve any type of purpose.
I think his main purpose was to distract that one guard when they were in the castle, and that was about it.
Yeah, that's about it. I love the designs of the creatures inside the moors. They were all so creative. You have your cute little goblin troll things, and you have these big tree creatures. Those guys were awesome, especially in the opening battle with the adult Maleficent, and when King Henry is trying to overtake the Moors, and they utterly fail, which I love that.
Oh yeah, going back to the characters, I thought they did a really good job of showing one single trait that showed that all the creatures was from the Moors, but at the same time, they all had their own characteristics that separated them, making them from different parts. I thought they did a really good job of tying that in together as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, and I give this movie 4 feathers.
I would give it 3 out of 5 feathers. I think overall they did a really good job with the movie, but there were too many things there that I thought that they were a little weak on, or it made no sense at all. It was still a really good movie. It's a really good and enjoyable movie to take people to see, but I have to stick with the 3.
I really wanted to give this a duck and awesome, but with all the conflicting thoughts that I have about the movie, it just couldn't quite get there for me, so I have to stick with the 4. But yes, it's a very good movie, and I think both of us suggest that you go and see it. And yep. If you liked this video, subscribe, like, favorite, and we will see you next time.
Out into the wild, indigenous child, surviving formidable trials. I stand in the rain, scanning the plains in pursuit of the villainous fire. Who sent everything that I love into flame, descent is my name.